Earlier this year, I got to drive and film an R32 Nissan Skyline for the channel. Today, I present you another car made famous to us Americans via Gran Turismo, a 1996 Mitsubishi Lancer Evolution 4 GSR. The Mitsubishi Lancer Evolution is probably Mitsubishi's most storied nameplate. A homologation rally special, it was the Camaro to the Subaru WRX STI's Mustang. While Mitsubishi had produced some cool cars in the past like the Eclipse 3000 GT and Galant VR4, the Lancer Evolution rose above everything else they had produced until that point, and possibly since. Mitsubishi had been a long-time competitor in the world rally stage. But as the 80s came to a close, it became clear that their competitor at the time, the mid-size Galant VR4, was simply too large to be competitive for much longer. They weren't the only ones to downsize at the time, as Subaru, Ford, and Toyota were in a similar transition in downsizing to smaller models. So for the 1992 model year, Mitsubishi took the 2-liter Turbo 4 and all-wheel drive drivetrain from the Galant VR4 and crammed it into the smaller Lancer. The result was something special, the Lancer Evolution. With as light as period compact cars were, the result was an instant recipe for success. With Mitsubishi's famed 4G63T under the hood screaming to life and all-wheel drive producing an unprecedented amount of grip, the result was an instant tuner car classic. This was all happening concurrently with Subaru's WRX models in Japan as well. So from the start, a close-knit rivalry was formed, and both brands pushed each other to improve upon the formula. For 1994, the Evolution was upgraded to bring us the Evo 2, and upgraded further with the Evo 3 in 1995. When the Lancer itself was redesigned for the 6th generation in 1996, the Evo would follow suit, and that brings us to the Evo 4 you see here today. As with previous Lancer Evolutions, the Evo 4 was available in two flavors, RS and GSR. The RS was the stripped race car for the street, the quote-unquote pure Evo experience, while the GSR would be more of a street-focused product focused on providing more creature comforts. While the RS did provide limited slips front and rear, you did get things like non-bucket seats, manual windows and mirrors, and optional air conditioning. The GSR, however, got you these red Recaro buckets, active yaw control, ABS, airbags, fully automatic air conditioning, integrated PIAA fog lamps in the front bumper, 16-inch OZ Racing F1 wheels, and a rear windshield wiper. Options for the GSR include the Lamco Mitsubishi boost gauge, sunroof, and a 5-inch double-din TV tuner/CD player head unit. Under the hood of the Evo 4 is the previously mentioned famous 2-liter 4G63 Turbo 4, producing a respectable 276 horsepower and 260 foot-pounds of torque from the factory. Those are really good numbers for a compact car in 1996. RS models weighed just 2,778 pounds, while GSR models weighed either 2,965 or 3,020, depending on whether or not it had a sunroof. Compare this to the modern equivalent, the GR Corolla, which produces 300 horsepower and has a weight of 3,292 pounds if you don't go the stripped-down Morizo route. This power, weight, and size is such a perfect formula to produce a fantastically fun compact car. But wait, there's more! The Evo 4 now utilized a twin-scroll turbo aimed at reducing turbo lag and improving throttle response. Power is then sent via a 5-speed manual transmission, as automatic versions of the Evo wouldn't become available until the Evo 7 with the GTA. And like the WRX, the Evo 4 would offer all-wheel drive. However, the Evo 4 was notable as it introduced active yaw control. Why is this notable? It's because this is one of the first cars that introduced torque vectoring. For the Evo, this meant using steering, throttle, and G-sensors so the computer can hydraulically control the torque to each of the rear wheels as needed. Mitsubishi had been developing this for years for the WRC cars, but this was the first time they had implemented it on a street car. The goal of this system was to help minimize understeer, which is worse in front and especially all-wheel drive cars. Overall, the sum of all of these parts is possibly one of the best driving cars of the 90s. Like, the grin factor of this car is off the charts. I've sung the praises of the 4G63T before. It's a good engine, and it had a long life for a very good reason. But the twin-scroll turbocharger is a game changer in this car. Yes, there's still some turbo lag, but rolling this car jumps to an attention at an incredible pace. It's fantastically quick, and its lightweight makes it one of the most fun cars I've featured on this channel. Probably the happiest this car is making highway merges and pulls. While a lot of cars would need a downshift to gather the revs to make a pass, the Evo 4 had the power on tap. It's ready to pass that big truck, ready to pass that crossover, ready to rocket you to wherever your destination may be. And it handles amazing. I had absolutely no reservation with taking the Cloverleaf on-ramp with the Ambition. This car gave me so much confidence. Oh, what a fantastic car to drive. It's definitely up there with the R32 Skyline in driving experiences that I've had on this channel. The owner of this car, Thomas, got it after stumbling on it when it was in pieces at a local tuner shop. A year before filming, he had a built Evo 10 when he had it sent to another shop to get the clutch replaced. While in transit, the tow truck driver crossed the WLO line on a state highway, sideswiped a semi-truck, and got in a major accident. The Evo 10 was totaled in the wreck, and after a long fight with the insurance company, he finally got a payout that he could work with. After bouncing between a couple of fun project cars, he stumbled upon this Evo 4 in pieces. The guy who had imported this car had it at a shop due to a bad clutch and a misfire. The shop told him that it needed a whole new engine, and that guy had acquired an Evo 7 engine to put in it. The original owner then decided to cut his losses, and that's where Thomas came in and got the car and spare engine. He proceeded to take it to a shop he trusted, who discovered that it just needed a valve seat, which is something that was completely fixable. So after getting the engine and clutch put back together, he's been enjoying it in its close to stock state before it enters the next phase with it. That Evo 7 engine, he's currently building that engine for somewhere between 400 and 500 horsepower. Not as much as his Evo 10 had, but after experiencing the Evo 4 in its natural form, he knows that this car doesn't need nearly that much power to be just as rowdy. Following the Evo 4, the Lancer Evo would go through two more iterations on the 6th generation Lancer platform. In late 2001, the Evo 7 came about and introduced the evolution formula to the new 7th generation Lancer. But for 2003, it was the evolution of that evolution, the Evo 8, which would finally see us Americans gain access to the Evo platform. Just a year before, Subaru had finally introduced its Impreza WRX to the States, and it was a smashing success as we really hadn't had a chance to get our hands on a car like that before. Small, turbocharged, and four-wheel drive? Other markets had plenty of experience with these rally cars for the streets, but the WRX hit right at the height of the tuner car boom and became an overnight success. So of course its closest rival Mitsubishi had to follow suit and bring the WRX's arch-rival to the States. In a 2-year span, a whole generation of kids had their own Camaro versus Mustang, Commodore versus Falcon. When the Lancer itself would undergo a massive redesign for the 2007 model year, the Evo 10 was born. Unlike previous Evos, the 8th generation Lancer would only get one iteration of the Evo, the 10. While very good upon its launch, unfortunately, the Evo 10 became a victim of Mitsubishi's slow decline in the 2010s when it had split from its longtime American partner, Chrysler, and was sort of meandering on its own throughout the decade. It now didn't have the money to continuously update its bread and butter compact car, let alone its famous homologation racer. So unfortunately, by the time its production ran its course, the Evo 10 felt like an outdated car compared to the more modern sport compacts such as the Focus RS and Golf R. The Evo was dead in 2016, and soon with it, the Lancer itself. Ever since, teases of its return graced the internet with just as much frequency as a new Pontiac Firebird or Mazda RX-9. Current day, Mitsubishi is kind of forced to be a sensible car company in an effort to rebuild its brand, and also under its new ownership under the Renault-Nissan-Mitsubishi alliance. Maybe one day we'll see another Evo. One would hope. The Mitsubishi Lancer Evolution 4 is an incredible car, and I would consider it to be one of those legendary JDM cars of the 90s. While not nearly as over-engineered as the R32 Skyline, I'd argue that it's still up there with the Japanese bubble economy greats. Much like Nissan, Mitsubishi in recent years has been through the ringer. But it was cars like these that made them legendary to a whole generation of kids thanks to their inclusion in games like Gran Turismo. This car helped pioneer torque vectoring, something that's been touted today as technical wizardry for hybrid cars and EVs. And like the R32 Skyline, after getting an experience in Evo 4 for myself, I get it. I get the hype. These cars were incredible, and were among the best kept secrets of the automotive world before years of demand from consumers and Subaru beat them to the punch forced their hand into finally selling these cars in America. 1996 Mitsubishi Lancer Evolution 4 GSR, a rally and homologation special completely worth the hype. Have a good day, everyone. Thank you once again for watching another episode of Wookie Drives. Huge shout out to Thomas of Shelby, North Carolina for letting me drive his Evo 4 for this show. If you have a car or truck you'd like to see on the show and happen to be in the Charlotte or Mooresville, North Carolina area, email me with a submission of your car to wookiedrives@gmail.com. That's right, submit your car to wookiedrives@gmail.com. That's wookiedrives@gmail.com. Don't forget to give the video a like, drop a comment with some feedback. Any sort of interaction with this video really helps small channels like mine grow in the algorithm. Share with all your Evo 4 friends. And finally, don't forget to subscribe and hit that bell for notifications for more videos like these. Thank you so much for watching and have a good day.
Mitsubishi 世界ラリー選手権完全優勝。世界の道を制したテクノロジーの確かさをあなたに。ランサーエボリューション6間もなくデビュー。